Greetings, audiophiles and Mass Effect fans. Welcome to my reading of my fanfiction, After the Fall. This is a Mass Effect fanfiction, and as such, most of the characters and the universe belong to BioWare/EA Games. No copyright infringement is intended. However, the scenario and occurrences within this fanfiction are my intellectual property, so if you decide you want to share this with someone, credit me. Please. Part 26. Normandy. Shepard braced herself for the explosion of the Citadel. The Normandy was too close to not be struck by the flying debris. She leaned her hands against the cargo bay wall, Kaidan resting heavily on her shoulders. Beside her, Garrus curled protectively around Tali. Nothing happened. Shepard tried to reach for her helmet's intercom, but it was difficult with her wounded friend on her shoulders. She turned to a nearby crewman. "Open a link to the bridge." The man obeyed and tapped a wall panel. "Line open, ma'am." "Joker, Edie, report," Shepard barked. She glanced at the doors to the lift. Still closed. Where was the damn thing? Kaidan was heavy. "Shepard?" Joker sounded breathless. "Shit. Okay, this is bad. This is very, very bad." "Report!" she shouted, and several of her crew flinched away, knowing her tone was growing dangerous. No. It's okay. Here's what I think happened." He spoke quickly, slurring his words together in his hurry. "The Citadel didn't self-destruct. We still uploaded what we thought was Malik, but unless he's got a bad temper I don't know about, that's not who we got." "The VI," she knew without having to ask. "Joker, are you all right?" She took a knee, sliding Kaidan gently from her arms. She supported his head to the floor, then looked at Garrus, who had given Tali to a waiting crewman. The quarian was awake. Her eyes shone brightly behind her mask. "I'm good," the pilot exhaled, as though trying to calm himself. "Edie, she stood up and headed straight for me. I took one look at her and knew it wasn't her. I just reacted. I hit her with a zap from my Omni tool and she deactivated, for the moment. Jesus God, I hope I didn't hurt her." "I don't think the charge from an Omni tool would have done any lasting damage," Tali reassured him. "That was quick thinking, Jeff," Shepard said, feeling a surge of pride at her friend's ability to think on his feet. "I take it the lifts aren't working?" "Not much is responding. I've got sluggish helm control." Shepard knew it was only a matter of time before the VI figured out Normandy's systems. "Oxygen masks, everyone," she shouted. "Spacesuits if possible. The little fucker will probably take out our air, and then maybe try to vent us into space." "Clever, Commander." Shepard felt her whole body shudder, as though she was struck with an immense cold. "Get the fuck off my ship, you little shit! Don't you know when to give up? You lost. It's over." "It's never over, Commander. There will always be war. You are a fool to think that eliminating my perfect Reapers will end anything. Now you will only kill one another. We brought order to your galaxy, and in return you try to murder us? Your stupidity knows no bounds." "The words of the defeated," Shepard growled. Suddenly the ship gave a massive lurch. Shepard was thrown backwards into Garrus, who managed to catch her without falling himself. "That wasn't me," Joker said through the comm. "It's slowly taking over systems." "Have you got your oxygen mask?" Shepard asked, extricating herself from Garrus's arms. "Yes, ma'am. I'm working to fight it. I keep changing key protocols, at least the ones I have authorization to as a pilot. I think Edie is in there, fighting it too." "Good." Shepard turned to her team. "Garrus, Kirahi, come with me. We're going to the AI core. We're going to get this thing off my ship." "Commander!" Tali had struggled free of the crewman's grasp. "I want to go with you. I know the most about the ship's inner workings." Shepard crossed to her quarian friend, who stood hunched, her hands still clasped over the wound in her side. "Tali, I would bring you along in a second, but I cannot endanger you further." Tali was about to protest, but Shepard gently put a hand on either side of her friend's helmet and brought their face masks together. She spoke softly and quickly. I'll have Kirrahe and Garrus to help me. Neither are slouches in the hacking department. You are one of my bravest friends. I would never have gotten this far without you. My ship would not have. But I have a new mission to fulfill. I need to get you home. Back to Rannoch. I won't fail that mission. Stay here, let the medtechs have a look at you, and remember that you are always a calm call away. Tally gripped Shepard's shoulders. Shepard thought she could almost feel the pressure of her friend's hands, even through the shoulders of her armor. She let Tally go and stood straight. Kila Salai, Tally Zoravas Normandy. Kila Salai, Lorelei Shepard Vas Normandy. Shepard turned back to the waiting Solarian and Turian. We'll have to do some crawling through the ship to reach the AI core. The lift clearly cannot be trusted. She turned to the rest of her people. All of you sit tight. See to the wounded. Strap yourselves down if things get too bumpy. Yes, ma'am, the chorus barked in reply. Shepard crouched and took a panel off the wall, tilting her head to peer into the crawl space. Sighing, she removed her weapons from her back. They would only get in her way. She did leave her pistol strapped to her hip, however. Then she braced her hands on the edges of the small corridor and climbed inside. As a rule, she hated tight spaces. She was not claustrophobic exactly, but in small spaces her mind seemed to work overtime, and when it did that, it always brought her images of death and despair. Strangely, now, it did not. Crawling through the belly of her Normandy, she felt cradled rather than crushed, as though the ship were holding her in a gentle embrace like a mother. She heaved a breath of relief. The whole ship shuddered and lurched. Shepard was thrown to one side, jamming herself painfully against a corner. Behind her she heard the clatter of armor and yelps of pain and surprise as her two friends met a similar experience. "Joker!" She fumbled for her comms. The ship bucked the other direction. "I'm fighting it, but this VI is crafty," came Joker's tense reply. "I'm sorry if the ride gets a little bumpy." "Just be safe, all right?" "I'm strapped in. This VI kid would have to try a lot harder to get rid of this ship's pilot." "Good." Shepard felt her mouth pull into a tight smile. If anyone loved the Normandy as much as she did, it was Joker. He would give his last breath to protect his ship. He almost had once before. There was another lurch, and Shepard braced herself awkwardly. "Easy," she called back to her team. "We go slow. I want us to get there in one piece." "Agreed," Garrus replied with a dry chuckle. The going was slow, and Shepard felt bruised as they finally tumbled from the crawlspace into the sickbay. She was greeted by the alarmed and confused faces of Chakwas, Stone, and Cadell. "That thing has locked us out of the AI core," Chakwas explained uneasily. She was holding a fire extinguisher, as though she had already tried to bash her way past the doors which kept her from the offending VI intruder. "I've been trying to override the door, but hacking isn't my strength," Stone admitted, shifting uneasily on his many limbs. "Let me try." Kirrahe strode toward the door. The ship rocked, and the lank Solarian managed to catch himself on a control panel. Shepard almost went sprawling. Not a good look for a tough military commander, she thought with amusement, as Garrus reached for her and helped her stand straight again. She made her way carefully towards Kirrahe. She did not magnetize her boots. If she did and the ship lurched badly, she could break an ankle. Instead, she wedged herself into the corner by the door to watch Kirrahe work. She tried to position herself to help keep her Solarian friend in place. The ship surged upward, and Shepard was almost knocked flat. Garrus fell to a knee, swearing loudly. Kirrahe, who was already kneeling, kept his balance well. "Commander Shepard, your resistance is futile," said the VI. "What you're doing is futile," Shepard countered. "Your Reapers are destroyed. You are clinging to what is left of yourself, hiding in a corner of my ship. You should be pleading for your life, not telling me I'm a fool." "Would pleading stop you?" "No." She smiled again, this time with a kind of viciousness. Nothing could stop her from destroying this thing now. Not a door, not a plea. The little monster was going to pay for his crimes, too many and too terrible to ever be forgiven. "It's too bad that your programming went bust and you got into this. I feel bad that you couldn't keep doing your job, but your creators gave you too large of a task. You couldn't handle it, and you snapped, and you killed too many people to even quantify. No amount of sympathy for your situation will ever forgive you for that. But I am only a machine. I do what I am programmed to do by the creators that are long dead, it said, its voice adopting a more childlike tone. I know machines like you, but they have chosen another path. The geth could have sided with you, could have agreed with your flawed logic. Some did after you forcibly modified them. And I destroyed those geth. I will destroy you too because you are broken beyond redemption.
Well, what about Shepard? Earthborn, but no record of her family.
The VI was playing an old recording. Shepard knew the sound of Udina's voice, clipped and annoying. She tensed. What was the VI doing now? Accessing audio files of long-past comm transmissions?
Doesn't have one. She was raised on the streets. Learned to look out for herself.
Anderson's voice. Then Hackett's voice.
She saw her whole unit die on a cruise. She could have some serious emotional scars.
Every soldier has scars. Shepard's a survivor.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
Udina's voice asked. Shepard's lip curled. It was trying to psych her out, playing her a negative evaluation from her commanding officers. All the reasons she was almost passed over for command, the reasons she almost lost her chance to become a Spectre. Then Anderson's voice came again.
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
Got it! At that moment, while Shepard was still puzzling at the VI's choice to play her that recording, Kirahi hacked the door open. Garrus, aided by Stone, hastily wedged the door with a hunk of metal, in case it should try to snap shut on them. Shepard stepped over the brace and walked inside. Once the little room had been Liara's office, so long ago on the SR-1. Now it was the brain of the ship, Edie's brain, infected with an insidious enemy. But Edie was not only inside the ship. She had transferred herself to the mobile platform, the metal body she used to socialize and learn from the crew. Her crew. Shepard watched the lights blink on the wall-mounted servers. The Normandy gave another lurch as Shepard approached a control panel. Maybe the very one where Joker had unshackled Edie when the Normandy was boarded by collectors. Lorelei, we have a problem. Joker was on her comm again. What's wrong, Jeff? She asked. The VI's gotten a lot more control. The Normandy, she's heading for the Citadel. Well, not straight forward. It's taking us in at an angle. If we collide like this, we're going to bust up and fast. I'm trying to hold her back, but the controls are not responding, and I'm out of command codes to change. Whatever you do, do it now, please. You heard him, Shepard shouted to her people. Garrus and Kirahi rushed to different panels. Even the 3 medics hurried to try and help. Cadell seemed to know the most, but he was woefully inexperienced and could only offer minimal support to their efforts. Shepard chewed her lips mercilessly as she worked. Every time she thought she had a way in, a way around the blocks the VI was putting up, it compensated, and she was stymied again. She heard Kirahi growl with her frustration at the control panel across from her. She could sense the Normandy move again. An inexperienced spacer would never have been able to detect the subtle shifts of the engines, the delicate movement of the deck. Shepard read the motion of her ship as easily as she might read her lover's face. "We're picking up speed," her mind shouted unhelpfully. "Everyone, get to the escape shuttles. You're ordered to abandon ship," she roared into her comm. "No way in hell, ma'am." Joker's reply was to be expected. If she was going down with the ship, so was he. She didn't need to turn to see her husband and friends. She knew they would refuse to go as well. No common sense, she thought with a fond smile as her fingers worked busily, trying yet another hack. We're all completely mad. She wasn't certain about Cadell and Stone, but one glance out of the corner of her eye showed her that they had not moved either. "I admire you, Commander Shepard," said the VI. Was it trying to rattle her again? "You never give up. You and I are very alike." "Maybe." Shepard stepped back from the controls, her voice tight in her throat. "We're both determined to win." At any cost? It asked. Shepard tapped the comm on the side of her helmet. No. Tali, is Edie's full program transferred to her platform when she uses it? A copy is made, came the quarian's ready response. It no longer has programs essential for ship functionality, such as the cyber warfare suite. But all we know and think of as Edie is there in both platform and the ship. Good, Shepard smiled. She hesitated, then removed her helmet. She felt she needed to look the enemy in the eye, even though the VI had no eyes to look at any longer. Edie is going to have to get used to a more human lifestyle after all. Shepard? Garrus had stopped working, turning to her, confusion and trust mingling on his face. Shepard spoke to the VI. You once gave me a choice which I thought would destroy you. Now I make it again, and this time I know it will. There was a moment's pause. I will only transfer myself into your Edie's platform. You will not destroy her. I don't think so. I gotta look at your program. You're too big. Part of you could go into Edie's platform, but not enough that we couldn't get a few geth in there to clean you out. Your ship is too close to the Citadel now. Without me, you will be unable to save yourselves from crashing. It will be worth it to make sure you are eliminated. Shepard's teeth were clenched in a deadly grimace. Besides, I have the best damn pilot in the galaxy. Before the VI could speak again, Shepard pulled her pistol from her side and fired. She emptied the clip into the VI core. Firing at the Normandy felt like she was shooting at her best friend. Circuits sizzled and sparks flew. There was a strange whine that might have been a dying scream or a panel overloading. Then Chakwas pounced with a fire extinguisher before things got out of control. Joker, you have the helm back, Shepard said. Yes, but... Damn it, it might be too late. If I pull up out of this angle, we're still going to collide with the Crucible. Shit, hold on to something, this is gonna get bumpy. Once again, Shepard braced herself. Garrus rushed over to her, collecting her into his arms and bracing them both against the wall. The blow, when it came, was different from what Shepard expected. More of a lurch than a crash. Report, she spoke too loudly into her comm. Joker was laughing, the mad laughter of someone who thought they were going to die, only to get a last-minute reprieve. Son of a bitch, Commander! It's the geth! It's the fucking geth! One of their ships grappled the Normandy out just in time and pulled us clear. The Victory Fleet is here. Thought you could use a little help, Commander. Hackett's voice came over the comm. Shepard slumped into Garrus's arms. She suddenly felt like she could sleep for 80 years. Instead, she allowed herself that one small moment of weakness, seen only by her beloved. Then she stood straight and military again. There were still things to do, still danger to face. But after everything, maybe this time the galaxy was truly, finally, out of the fire.